You know, just for a moment there, as you see RC's tweet, he said the next snap of football will be one of the scariest snaps we've ever watched. I do want to take time to say that RC is like a brother to us. So to watch him so eloquently handle an impossible situation last night, we commend you, RC, and you continue to impress us with everything that you do. Awful, awful, all the way across the board, but handled it so well. And I've heard it from every former football player today. You accept the risks when you play in the NFL. Sure. I want to explore that idea for a minute, because how much does a young football player actually weigh those risks, and maybe even the severity of these specific risks that we are unfortunately addressing today?
A young player, listen, you're aware of them. We know what the game is. I think like the reality for young players is from a very early age of starting to play football, you're taught how important like being physically and mentally tough is, physically and mentally strong. And just the brutal reality is like if you're not, you can't make it in the NFL, you know? And so like as a young player, you think that's the most important thing, because if it's not, I don't have a career. And then I think like the reality is over the years of playing this game, you start to do really hard things, like things that you physically and mentally like didn't think you were capable of. And you start to prove to yourself, like, oh, I could do all these hard things, right? I could do the things that I didn't think I was capable of. And it gives you this belief of, like, invincibility. I could do anything. You know, like, I'm Superman. And the injury stuff and the fear of injury, I feel, becomes, like, so much less and less and less as the years go, because you prove to yourself in many ways, and, like, again, to your own mind, I could do those hard things. I could do those things that hurt, all that training and preparation. And while you're aware of the potential of it, you somehow, some way become so consumed with like almost the draw to do difficult things that you don't think anything can stop you. You know, and that's one of the reasons why guys make it in the NFL and one of the reasons why guys don't.
Yeah, you get desensitized to a lot of human elements. You know, we joked about this when we played. You get a high ankle sprain in football, you rehabbing in 2 days. You get it working a normal job, you got 6 weeks paid leave, right? And not to make light of the situation, but I'm gonna go into my home because I was speaking to my wife and she was checking on me last night. And it's funny how people will check on us as former players, right? And my mind is solely on DeMar, but we have a 13-year-old son, and we talk about BMB. We show June highlight playing football every Monday on this show. And our real conversations that we had for that 1 year that he played football, my wife was terrified. And before he was born, when she knew we were having a boy, before he was born, she was like, he's not playing football. And I was like, well, why would you say that, right? Like, in my mind, I'm like, if he pushes me, and he tells me he wants to play, I'm going to allow him to play. But he's going to actually understand what comes with this game. And I think that's the difference. I think that's the conflict that parents have been going through and based on this are going to go through, right? When you're having these conversations with your 6 or 7 year old and they looking at their favorite player and they looking at these guys play on Sunday and they see the enjoyment of the game, it is our responsibility, even more so, to let them know what the risks are, but also allow them to chase that dream if they want to. And it's difficult.
I want to quickly go back to RC's actual tweet saying the next snap of football we see will be the scariest. I feel that we're going to be doing a game on Saturday, a Week 18 game between the Chiefs and the Raiders. That'll be the first time that we see football again played at the NFL level. And I'm trying to grapple with what it's going to be like and maybe even the cringe factor of thinking, I just hope everyone's going to be okay. And I obviously never played the game.
The fear, it's a very real fear. It's an unknown, you know, like I sit here right now and I'm emotional, you know, about it. You know, like I watched RC from last night and he's emotional. And honestly, like I've been emotional a couple times today. I don't know DeMar, you know, I don't know him, you know, but I feel like I do. You know, like, when you watch that last night, again, that bond of football, it's like, I know that guy. That could be my son one day. Like, that could be you. Yeah. That could have been RC, you know, like in that very real relationship that you build in that game is so unique that, like, the game of football, while scary and dangerous, it builds those bonds that you can't really fabricate in anything else. And that's why, like, the emotional attachment for ex-players or guys that are still playing is so real, because you sit there and you think, like, why him? Mm-hmm. Like, why that guy? And even though you don't know him, you feel like part of you is there with him. Part of you is there with his family watching this, and it feels like your brother is down on the ground. And I just, like, it's a very difficult thing as an ex-player, because Marcus, you mentioned, like, it's our job to, like, make everyone aware of the realities, but it's so hard unless you're in it. Like, it's so hard unless you're in it, you know? And you become calloused to the reality of it in a good way. And this was just like the very real exposure of some of the real aspects of it.
I think maybe it's a complicated reality. There's some glory and beauty to this game that we all love and that we celebrate and that I think we prop up, but yet you watch something like this that none of us have seen before, and it is a stark and very harsh reality.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.